Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. My name is Andy Wilson, and I'm the Executive Director of Doing Business in Bentonville. And thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I will tell you, we have got such a great topic, so we're going to jump straight into this. Let me welcome my guest this morning, Greg Billingsley. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much.
Man.
It's an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you, man.
I'll admit, I'm a fan of this podcast and of what you're doing. And I have listened to every episode that's been out. So I have it in my list. And so just your guest list has been incredible. I know you've got some new friends, you've got a bunch of old friends. And so for me to be a new friend that you've invited on has been amazing. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, Greg, listen, man, thank you for that. That means so much to me. And you know, speaking of that, Greg and I, we met this year and we met cycling.
We did.
What a better way. There's no better way to meet.
No better. And for your listeners, I'm sure they've heard cycling here and there. Yeah. But they need to know how good of a cyclist you are.
Oh, no, we're not going there.
I know you don't want to. But so the last time, just a small story, last time that we cycled together, I had a slow leak in my back tire and I had a pump. I was trying to pump it up. It would last, 5 minutes at the most? Yeah. And I had to limp home. And who was it that took me the way? It was you. It was Andy that took me the whole way. I think you had to spend 2 CO2 cartridges on me, which I owe you for. No. But just such a great cyclist and friend, and really, I appreciate that.
Well,
sure.
Listen, man, thank you so much. I do. I love our friendship and how it's developing, and and I think we have a lot of interest. And I think you just went somewhere pretty exciting to cycle.
It's I've been a couple places for sure, but I not too long ago we got to go to Napa and cycle in Napa some, and the wine country there is beautiful, of course. But the cycling is great, and it's through the hills and more mountains area. They got some tough, it's a pretty good inclines areas, and I'm not the greatest climber, but I really enjoy the challenge for sure.
I've not done Napa yet, but I'm definitely on my bucket list. I'm going to get out to California and do some great riding out there.
Yes.
I love California. It's a great state. So much to do there, especially around the sports and cycling and all of that, hiking, all that great stuff.
Should I ask you where you've been lately?
Maybe Spain.
Maybe Spain. That is on my bucket list.
Oh, yeah. Mallorca, Spain is phenomenal, and I really recommend it. And it's a beautiful, beautiful area around the metro area, and in fact, I booked for next year, so I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready.
Well, and the plan is when you do that, you cycle because you want to eat whatever you can, and just I'm sure the cuisine there and the food is incredible.
It's incredible. Yeah, right. We have to go to work, I guess, right? Yeah. No, but let me just tell you about a bit more about my friend Greg. Greg is Vice President of Technology and Development for Harvest Group.
Yes.
Okay, now tell us about Harvest Group, and then tell us about what you do, and then we have got some great topics around omnichannel retail that we're going to go deep on today. So you're going to lock it. So hang with us, but so tell us about you and the company.
Yeah, sure. Well, let's start with me. I was born and raised in Norman, Oklahoma, so a college town. But my dad's from Arkansas. I came up here to go to the university and just loved Northwest Arkansas so much I stayed. And so getting an engineering degree from the University of Arkansas has been just incredible for me. And this community and just being involved in it for so long since the mid-90s. I love it up here. And so to be in an area where we have just such great companies. Obviously, Walmart is just incredible for not just as a company that provides such great things for their people and for their customers, but in our area, they provide incredible things culturally for our area. So I love being here, and so my journey has been, I was in e-commerce for a long, long time, coming out of college, early days of the internet. And we did internet application development early on, and then jumped into e-commerce, in the early 2000s. And so I did that for about 13 years. And we built kind of niche websites that really had a focus on certain product areas, and so things like safety equipment for the auto racing industry. So it's a place where we wouldn't necessarily compete with Amazon or some other ones, but we were known for that, and we were known for some other areas. So that's kind of where I cut my teeth in that, and that's where even the early days of it was Google AdWords at the time. Now it's just Google Ads, but we had one of the first accounts of Google AdWords. And started learning, what's now retail media and advertising. Started learning that in the early days. So that's kind of the background. And then I ended up consulting for Harvest and joining Harvest, and I've been there for just over 5 years now, which has been incredible. And so I'll tell you about Harvest.
A little
bit about me.
Sure. No, that's great.
Jump into Harvest. Yeah. So Harvest we're an integrated commerce agency. And really, we provide a total commerce solution to really give our clients and guide our clients through transformational growth. So I know that's a lot of words, a lot of really important words for us. So I can kind of talk you through some of that.
Sure.
Integrated commerce, really, and I love that what you've been doing around omnichannel, and so that's really what we're approaching with integrated commerce, is talking about omnichannel. You had one of your guests a while back, it's been a few months, but one of your guests mentioned that omnichannel is going to be so ubiquitous or so just necessary that it's just going to become commerce in a sense, that it's just going to become, you have to do it to really succeed. And that's what we're seeing, and that's what we provide to our clients, is that omnichannel is such an integrated part of what we do that it's just become commerce now,
right?
Because you can't go without doing it, in a sense.
That's right.
And so for us, it's that integration across all of the omnichannel areas and across retailers. So we, Harvest Group, we definitely cut our teeth at Walmart and Sam's, and I believe we just completed 17 years, so we're on our 18th year and have a great history here in Northwest Arkansas. Over the last 7-8 years, we've expanded into other retailers. Our clients have said, "Hey, this is amazing what you're doing for us at Walmart, at Sam's, and so what can you do for us at Kroger and at Amazon and at Target and at Costco?" And so we have expanded our service to our clients to be able to do that. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So part of that integration is that we have, our clients are looking at all the retail and saying, what kind of strategies do we need to bring, especially around omnichannel, across all the retailers and not just one of them? And can we have a cohesive, connected strategy across those things? So, so that's
exciting.
That's really what we approach. And then if I step back and just say, okay, what do you really do? Or what's your focus?
Yeah.
We want to grow our clients' business. We want to, our tagline's a little bit, we want to grow what matters.
Right.
And so our clients are suppliers to retailers, and so they're CPG and early on in the days of Harvest, our founders were from larger CPG companies like Procter & Gamble and others, and so they saw just this need for small and medium-sized suppliers that they didn't have the resources that these large suppliers had, and so they're at a bit of a disadvantage. And so our founders saw that and really said, hey, we want to provide the same level of service, the same teams, the same analytics that these large CPGs can afford because they have the resources for it. So they saw this area where they really thought we can make a difference here. And they went after it,
I love it.
And so we've grown since then. Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about, one of the things that we're going to talk about towards our wrap up, we're going to talk about this great company, Harvest Group. And we're going to get into some more things and some awards they've won and some a big celebration they recently had. Because I really want you, in our conversation, you talk about what's key to your company. And we're going to come back to that. So you need to hang on, because Greg's going to share some really great information as we wrap. Now, let's talk about omnichannel. Our mission here is to really open up this whole idea of thinking about the future of omnichannel and say, look, this is how the future is going to look and how we're going to shop. and how we're going to do business. And it's exciting. I've been in retail for 40 years, and Greg, I'm probably more excited today about retail than ever. And, when I started Walmart out of school, we had 120 stores, and it was the brick and mortar all the way. But now what's developing is so exciting on how we shop.
Yeah.
And the consumer is winning.
They benefit.
I mean,
absolutely.
I want to tell you, when I can open my door and get my package, I'm one happy guy, in my house shoes. I'm just telling you. I'm wow, this is the way to shop for me. Yeah. But then you still have the brick and mortar if you want to go do that. Yeah. So we're going to get into that. So the thing that let's drill down a bit into your services. Okay, let's talk about these different areas that you work in every day. And so let's just talk about retail media.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Sure thing. Yeah. So if I look back at like some history even of retail media where again, Google was kind of the start of that long ago.
Yeah.
But when Amazon jumped in, I think they figured out that their traffic, their audience was a valuable asset of theirs. And so, being able to bring advertising and retail media, to their site ended up being a really big deal where they could, people could promote their products. They could, especially new products. It is hard to break into these search engines with new things. Mm-hmm. Usually the older, the longer it's been in, the better. And so for a lot of this, retail media and expansion of those things is really, how do we break in? How do we make sure that our product, that our name, our brand is up in front, right, and that people know about us? Mm-hmm. And so part of it's brand recognition, part of it is, driving sales. So for us, the expansion of it has been incredible. We've, just over the past, 4 years, to see how it's grown and Walmart has really expanded their services. And for us, as soon as we saw them doing it, we were jumping in.
Oh yeah.
And so we are partners, with Walmart in this, and Walmart Connect. And we certainly have I think helped them out from a testing standpoint. We go through and work with them all the time about what our clients need, what we're looking for, and their team is incredible.
Yeah.
Over there. And so it has been really amazing for us to work with them and to talk through their service and how we want to provide retail media to suppliers. And so ultimately the goal is to get customers to buy, what they need at the right, you want to get the right price, you want to get the 4 Ps, right? As we talk about. And so you want to get all those right, but really getting your products in front of people is going to be important. So for us, we opened up, our retail media kind of branch, and a while back, a few years ago. And we serve our clients we created our own in-house advertising technology where we could plug directly into Walmart. Mm-hmm. We also plug into other retailers mm-hmm. that we're at. So we do plug into Amazon, we plug into Target and other ones. And so we, for us, it's important to think of a holistic strategy around retail media spend. Right. So for suppliers, they want to get the best bang out of their buck, mm-hmm. right? And so when you go in and you spend $1 somewhere, you want to make sure that it's targeted at the right customer, in the right area where you're really wanting to push growth. And there are different strategies you can take with that. There's a strategy around, do I really want to just push my brand and make sure that it's a brand awareness? Mm-hmm. And so you're going to spend a little bit different and in different areas there. Mm-hmm. You may even spend across multiple retailers when you think through that. Right. Or is it we're just trying to drive sales, and so thinking through that about this is really one of our best products. We want to make sure that it's up front, mm-hmm. that people are aware of it. And so you're really pushing for that. Then it's a little bit different strategy. Mm-hmm. And you may put different minimums and maximums on your bids and your campaigns and your budgets. Mm-hmm. And so for us, what we do is we think about that strategy. What's the best thing? What are their ultimate goals? Mm-hmm. What do our clients really want to achieve? And then we break that down into, okay, this is the budget we have to work with. And so this is the strategy we're going to take across multiple retailers, and really across maybe multiple product lines or different things like that.
Exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah.
What are some of the other services? Let's talk through some more of those that you're doing. That's exciting.
Yeah, sure. And we started with one of the newest ones.
Yeah.
That we do. And so like going back to like the original core of what we do is around like the whole omnichannel. So it is around brick and mortar, digital, and advertising or retail media, all tied together. We use the phrase trilingual. I
like that.
At Harvest,
That's
where our account managers need to be trilingual, right?
Yeah.
And they do an amazing job of it, where they need to be able to speak brick and mortar and digital and retail media. So we certainly have specialists in each area.
Right.
They can go deep in those areas, but we need to, all in a sense understand that, because that's where that omni-channel power really lies, is through all three of those. So we, our full service capabilities is really working with our clients to grow their business at retail, and it's everything from helping them with line reviews and new products, and we get into replenishment and supply chain, and so we do a lot of work there, and then a bunch of analytics, and that's obviously where a lot of good tech comes in. And so we have our own in-house development teams and technology team. And so we've built our own technology around that as well, an analytics platform.
So all the pieces you talked about, digital, retail, you talked about brick and mortar. And so your company, it talks about how you integrate all of this, right? And, I just read someone said at Walmart, your closest store is your phone. Okay, it is the closest store today.
It is.
But so how do you integrate from all these platforms, from brick and mortar and digital to retail media? So you can integrate all of this.
We do.
So you're an expert in each of these areas. Your company.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, our company across the board is. I'll say it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
And we continue to grow as technology grows, as the retailers grow, as retailers invest in different areas. We're following that as well, because we want to serve. I think you've talked before about the triple win of the supplier wins, when the retailer wins, and ultimately when the customer wins.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And for us, it's a quadruple win, because we're a part of that story as well.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that we stay up to date with everything that's going on. And so you do have to be an expert in all those areas. How to integrate it? I'll nerd out a little bit, talk a little bit about tech side of it. Yeah. There is a concept in technology where you create a headless platform. And so what headless means is no matter how someone comes in, they're going to get the same experience. And so we create this, blend of, not exactly blend. We create this core feature set where it's always the same no matter how you approach it. So when it comes to technology and like your phones, it's that you want a similar experience. Now, there's going to be obviously some differences, but you want, from someone walking into a store and looking at a shelf and looking at, a mod, then you want that experience to translate into, what does it mean digitally? What does it mean on my phone? What does it mean social media? What does it mean when someone's promoting products on even TikTok at this point?
Right.
And then how do ads work into that?
Right.
And so you want to think holistically about all these things together. It's almost, for us now, it's almost impossible to separate them.
Yes.
We can't think about just brick and mortar without thinking about, digital, and without thinking about retail media anymore. You have to think about all three of these things. And then even tracking, and then, after a sale is made, then you want to think, okay, where do they come from? Was it from an ad? Of what platform? How, did it drive a sale? Is it incremental? That's a huge thing that we talk about a lot is, was that an incremental ad, or were they going to buy anyway? Those are really important statistics that are, sometimes those metrics are hard to get to. And so thinking through those things is important. And then last piece is thinking through and maybe not last piece, another piece is
Yeah.
thinking through how do each area, how do they affect the other area?
Right.
And this is really where the integration, the rubber meets the road. So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
Say you're running an ad on a product. We'll say it's applesauce.
Mm-hmm.
You're running an ad on an applesauce, and say it's a new, some new flavor of applesauce, and you run out of stock. One, you want to stop advertising. You don't have stock there.
Right.
And so you want those two things to tie together to say, hey, when we see digitally that, we're out of stock, we've got to really turn that ad off. But then there's also the next step of, okay, we're out of stock. We need to get back in stock.
Right.
And so you're thinking, well, now, what's the location? Is this a store fulfillment? Is this, how exactly is this being fulfilled? You're getting to DC level stuff.
Yeah.
Or store fulfillment level stuff.
Yeah.
And so thinking about that, which gets into your supply chain, which gets into replenishment, right? So that's how things really should be tied together and integrated, is you're not just stopping at one or two things, but you're thinking all the way through to solve those problems.
I love it.
Yeah.
And that's what you do at Harvest Group. I mean, you really look at this whole thing. And, one of the things that when we began at DBB, when we relaunched it, we said our focus is omnichannel retail, but our purpose was to demystify omnichannel. You're doing that for us today. You're taught, because you're bringing this educational and this knowledge to the forefront of for these retailers to look at all that. I love your example about the out of stock. Nothing's worse than when you go and the shelf is empty.
Yes.
And you're able to go take that all the back to the source, right?
Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. It's powerful.
You want to, thank you. You want to solve the root problem.
Yeah.
And ultimately you want the customer to win.
Right.
And so, being in stock is important, but making sure they know about your product, making sure they know the benefits of those things. Yeah. That's why a lot of the digital side of it, the benefit is you can get so much more information to people on a website through, just extended content, videos, reviews. There are just lots of areas there. And then kind of the next step for us at Harvest too is that we're not just doing it at one retailer, right?
Yeah.
We're doing it at all the retailers. They're all so different.
Yeah.
They really have different approaches. Where, obviously like Walmart, one of their primary strategies is, EDLP, and they have dominated with that, which is amazing.
Right.
They own that strategy, right? But if you go to another retailer, they're going to have a little bit different strategy where, say, for example, Kroger is going to be more promotion based and they're more personalization based. And so they create these personal promotions for people because they've got that membership data. So they just have a different approach. And so knowing that, and by the way, Target has a different one.
Yeah.
Amazon's clearly different.
Right.
You've talked about that on this before. Amazon's very, very different.
Yeah.
But knowing the differences between retailers is really important. So as we bring our clients to other retailers and start to serve them there, then we can be able to translate some of those strategies to say, okay, it worked here. We need to tweak it a little bit here, but we still want the overall goals to be the same. And that's really where that's a big area for us.
Well, it's got to be. And what I'm hearing too is that definitely overall what you said, this is the goal, but then you take it and you go really deep into each individual retailer based upon what their philosophy is in business and to their customers. And so you're able to take that directly, build that directly for that retailer.
Yeah.
That's so you're serving your client, your customer really well in that space based upon their objectives and mission and all of that.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's big.
It comes down to talent, and people and just working with the incredible people that I do that are way smarter than I am. It's always, you probably know, that being around people that challenge you, is so rewarding and challenging personally, at times as well, and I know you. Again, I'm going to keep referencing to all your great podcasts that I've been listening to.
Thank you.
But your stories about how you've been challenged, at times, and how you had to look at things a little bit differently. And I think the time that you got on a plane with Mr. Sane, I mean, what a great story. And even as you shared, I learned things from that. I'm like, oh yeah, people, right?
Yeah, right.
People are very important in knowing who you work with and your teammates.
You're so correct.
Such a good thing.
And we're going to come back to that because there's some questions I have that I'm very, very impressed with your organization and the people. But I want to come back to that because there's a couple of things there. I'm really great learning for all of us that we'll get into. Now, as we think about the future, okay, and I think it's so exciting, the future. And, I am so glad I worked with a great company that we never stayed still. Mm-hmm. Change was the most consistent thing. Yes. And that is how I look at my life now because of that experience I had in that. So as we think change, let's talk about AI.
All right.
Okay, because it's like every time I turn on my laptop, my iPad, my phone, I'm reading articles about AI.
Yes.
And I'm hearing reports about AI everywhere, what the government's doing and all of that. So just lay it out. Talk to us, man. Where's it going, okay?
Yeah, so I will, the disclaimer is I will freely admit I am a early adopter.
That's okay.
And so I love new technology. I want to dig in. And so when we talk about AI, first of all, it is most certainly within the realm of technology, at least. It's certainly the story of the year.
Okay.
It has driven so much, even revenue. I think NVIDIA, which is the processor chips behind a lot of this, I believe they are the top performing stock in the S&P 500. So for this year. Yeah. And so even like from that perspective, it is a really big deal. What we have to judge is you've got this hype curve in a sense where we're at the very peak. It's a bit of a roller coaster, the hype curve. So it goes way, way up and all the hype and, that's generated. And then there's going to start to be some disappointment where people realize like right now, sometimes things like the generative AI, things like ChatGPT aren't always trustworthy. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you actually have to tell it, don't lie to me. Then that hype curve there's some disappointment there. It's like, oh, it can't do everything I thought it could do. But then after that, it raises back up to this and kind of plateaus and slowly grows after that about, hey, this is really a good use of technology. Mm-hmm. So I will freely admit that generative AI, ChatGPT, it also has, other Microsoft has just released Copilot, which is their generative AI that integrates into Office 365. And they just released that a couple of weeks ago.
I read that.
So it's, and right now, I mean, they're, trying to figure out what's hype and what's real is part of my job. Mm-hmm. But I really think that what I've seen has been really incredible and the way I've used it. So I use it every day. Mm-hmm. I use it for research. I use it for creative ways to come up with ideas. I use it even to edit emails and say, okay, I wrote this email. Will you help clean it up? Will you turn it into bullet points? Will you do this? Will you make it more professional? Will you simplify it? It can do all of those things, but always with, I need to review it afterwards. Mm-hmm. You don't just create something and then send it off. You always need to review it afterwards. But big picture, the anecdotal stories coming out of its usefulness, and especially around this Microsoft Copilot release, have been pretty incredible. Mm-hmm. I've heard everything from it saves all of our people 30 minutes a day, mm-hmm. which may not seem a lot, but at scale, that's transformational.
Right.
And then there are others that are saying 40 to 60% savings, just depending on the job. So it's, I think, again, trying to stay big picture at least, when you see big moves in big economic numbers like a GDP, mm-hmm. those are usually because of innovation or productivity increases. Mm-hmm. And I think this hits both of those, where it really has the ability to increase our productivity, our creativity, save us time. Mm-hmm. I would say we are just at the early stages of understanding what it can do. But right now, I think, people are deciding, do I jump in now or do I wait? Because it's changing so fast. So back to the only consistent thing is change.
Yes. Yeah.
And the rate of change is increasing. So things are changing faster than they really ever have before. I think every week, every 2 weeks, something new with generative AI is coming out.
Right.
And so for us, keeping up with that's really important, but knowing when to step in, what to adopt, is the challenge, for everybody. So our retailers have already been jumping in. Walmart has their My Assistant, I believe, that they have been talking about, and it is a generative AI system that helps their team be more productive, be more creative. I can guarantee that they are working on lots of other things.
Right.
But that is, that's one step for them. And I know other retailers are doing it. Obviously, Amazon is so tech forward. They've got their system that they're working on. And then Kroger certainly is doing things. So that, and even large suppliers. I believe the CIO of Procter & Gamble came out and was talking about, hey, we want to be AI first. We want to be thought of it, thinking through AI first about how we can integrate this into what we do every day. So that's what we're talking through. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I can tell.
You can't tell.
Yeah,
I do. I love it. And again, freely admit I'm an early adopter, but the things that it has helped me do in the last couple months that I've been using it really has saved time, has allowed me to be more creative. And just giving me insight into some things that maybe I would have never thought before.
Right.
And so learning how to use it is, there's a bit of a curve of, make sure you tell it not to lie to you. Which then you're thinking, wait, how trustful is this? Doesn't happen often. But I think that is probably the biggest thing that they're working on right now is they call it hallucinations.
Yeah.
Trying to minimize those hallucinations. But the future, and stepping back to retail, the future, I think, is really having it start to interpret some of the bigger stories for us, especially around data. And so there are tons of startup companies now that have just emerged in the last 5-6 months. And there's a whole section of them that are working on putting generative AI on top of large data warehouses, large data lakes, where they know how to look at the data, how to interpret it, and maybe come up with new insights around what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on with certain customers. Different retailers are now creating what they're calling clean rooms, which is you can look at advertising data or you can look at other data where any personal information is taken out. So it keeps it clean, but they're providing that to companies like us where we have access to some of those, where we can really dig deep into data and do a lot of data science. And I think generative AI has a huge benefit to data science and really examining things at scale where it's really hard for just one person to do. So the sky's the limit on what I think is going to happen. I think both personal productivity could really increase as we adopt it, but also corporate-wide thinking through how can it really help us across the huge amounts of data we have, or even thinking through creative ways to solve problems. There are lots of applications right now that we're just scratching the surface of.
Wow. Yeah. That is exciting. And I know that if our viewers have questions and things like that, they're able to look to Harvest Group to help them, guide them through this process of thinking and understanding. And I think it's, like you said, I think it's going to be huge. Yeah. But you've done a great job really laying it out and challenging us, and I really do agree with you. It's going to be so much part of the future.
Yeah.
And ultimately, though, I think, again, like most changes in this space that we're talking about, it's ultimately going to go all the way down to the consumer. Yep. And it's going to help that consumer make a better choice or select or more information about product, service, etc. And as a consumer, to so much of that, again, it's exciting. You did a great job on that.
Well,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was powerful.
Let me tell you one more example
please.
Of how I used it just yesterday.
Okay.
So I have an Apple Watch, and the band on my watch is getting old. I need a new band. And now they have like 3 different bands that I can choose from. And I'm looking for a more active one. I want one that's good for cycling. Right?
Yeah.
And so I asked ChatGPT, tell me the difference between these 3 brands or these 3 bands that Apple's providing for their watch. And it went through and did a diagnosis, and it was amazing. And it didn't just regurgitate what's on the Apple website. It went out and looked at, other websites that were commenting about it, reviewers that were commenting about it, and it brought together all that information. And it gave me really good information, but I still wasn't sure. And so then I asked ChatGPT, what out of these 3 options, what's the best for cycling? And it picked one. And it said, this, I think, is the best for cycling because of this, and this. And it was amazing to me. That was the one I was leaning towards, but I just wasn't 100% sure. And it was really cool to see that at play. And sometimes it really wows me. And that was one time that happened yesterday.
Okay, you got to see if I picked the right Apple band here on that. But yeah, we'll have to come back to that. You have to give me that advice.
Yes,
sure,
absolutely.
Okay, let's go back for a moment. You've done such a great job laying us through the work you do at Harvest. But let's go talk about your company for a moment. You mentioned earlier the people, but I know I just seen something on LinkedIn. I think you had some big event recently at your company.
We did.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So it's called Big Meeting.
Big meeting.
Big meeting.
I know.
Yes.
I love it.
Meeting.
In other words, you know what this is going to be. I love it.
We know. It's the big one.
Yeah.
We have it every year. So it's an annual meeting. It's where we bring all of our teammates from across the U.S. They all come into Northwest Arkansas, and we do a 3-day event. We shut down the office in a sense. Of course, we still have meetings with merchants and retailers and our clients if needed, but we try to plan as much in advance. And it is just an incredible time for us to be together. What we kind of look at is we celebrate the past year, we celebrate the wins we've had, and we really reflect and spend time thinking through that. Retail has been a tough year this year. I think with inflation, with all the different things that are going on, it's been challenging in retail. That's why Walmart's growth has really been impressive for me to be consistent post-COVID of just quarter after quarter growth has been amazing. But there's obviously been challenges in inventory across retailer and other things that they're trying to get right. And so I think some of that stuff has made it tough. And so for us to come through and say, hey, even in a tough year, look at all these things that, that have been, wins for our clients, ways that we've been able to grow, even in an environment with all of the economic uncertainty going on and high interest rates. And so I think it was just a really special time this year for us to be able to celebrate those wins. It's been great. So that's one thing, looking back at the year and talking through that, and then looking, thinking about our people, what do they need now? What kind of training do we want? So we spend time training people. We had a generative AI training where we went through and did some use cases, and everybody, had ChatGPT out and we're working on it. And so we train people, we talk through that, and then we really project for the future. And so we think, what are our strategies? What are we thinking about for the next 3 to 5 years? We continue to review those. And then especially what needs to be true next year for us to reach those goals. And so we look at our goals for 2024, we talk through them. And it is just exciting for me because as we think through, what is happening in the industry, all the omnichannel, all the potential there is just enormous. And for us to be able to, with our clients, navigate that journey is just exciting for us. And so it was an amazing time. We have an awards banquet where we talk through our values, and we have an award for every value. Internally, we give an award to as someone externally that lives the Harvest values, and even to a client that embodies those as well. And then we have fun. We have a Harvest band which I get to be a part of, which is fun.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you, are you part of that band?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
again, more personal stuff, but my wife is a musician, and so we have a band that we play in Northwest Arkansas. It's blues and jazz, and it's the Rachel B Band. That's my wife, Rachel Billingsley.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get to play there, but really for that, I just I stay in the background, and let her do her thing. She's just an incredible musician. But so with the Harvest Band, we have so many talented teammates that there are tons of musicians, and so we get together, we practice for a couple weeks, and we do about an hour of songs, and it's all covers. But
it's so exciting.
This year we played everything from a Taylor Swift song to a Smashing Pumpkins song from the 90s. So we hit grunge, we hit pop, we had a little bit of punk, we had some normal rock, Life is a Highway, and we really had a great time.
That's awesome.
Doing that, and we end the night with karaoke. So it's
that's a fun,
yes. Yeah. So just being with each other, creating relationships, and I think it's just an incredible thing for our people to know each other, to be transparent with each other, and to grow together as we continue on this journey. So that transformational growth that I started with, that's not just client focused; it's also internally focused. So we're thinking about personal growth, business career growth across the board. We want that to be transformational for all areas. Yeah.
One of the things I have a sense, and just, knowing you and just our conversations on the bike and otherwise, and then you sharing about your company. I love the title of the big meeting. That's awesome. Now, so as we close, one of the things that I know that Harvest Group does, it really intentionally focuses on really what got you here and going to get you there is your people. So talk about that. I know there's some specificities around your focus around culture, technology, etc. But so talk about that as we wrap up, because I want people to really sense that this is such a great company. You work really, really hard at what you do. You work really hard to keep great people and develop your people. So as we wrap, give our viewers and our listeners your critical steps around that. What do you focus on?
Well, absolutely. I think what's neat is that the company was founded on having this type of culture. So for us, it's not something new. It's something that's ingrained, in a sense. And for us, extraordinary service is something that we really strive for. And we know that starts with people, right? And for us, it really is finding, like, our values is what, stands out with that. And so we have 5 values of integrity, relationship, service, excellence, and journey. And that's the lens through which we hire people, we promote people. That's the lens through which we do our work, the lens through which we want to serve our clients. And it's not for us, it's not just up on a wall anywhere. In fact, I don't think it's on any walls.
It needs to be in your heart, in your mind.
Yeah.
Right?
But it is really something we talk about all the time. Every quarter, we have team meetings, just about every week. And every quarter, we will take a team meeting where we talk specifically about our values, and we open up and have a share time where any individual can talk about how someone in the company has lived up to certain values. And it's a wonderful time for us to be encouraging to each other, and at times challenge each other, to say, hey, this is who we are, and we love it, and we really think it is what grows us as people. And that's core to what we do. We feel like if we take care of ourselves, if we have that culture internally, then it's not something that we have to manufacture when we go talk to clients, but it's someone who we are when we talk to our clients.
I love that.
And it's really, hopefully it integrates with everything we do is the approach. So I know you've had a couple sessions, a couple podcasts on servant leadership. And that's certainly a highlight for us is thinking through servant leadership. What does that mean at our company? How do we serve each other? How do we really care for each other? A lot of Brene Brown going on, and which is just fantastic.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's just something that we embody, but we work at. It is something we certainly take some good effort and good energy to continue to strive for and continue to grow our culture.
Right. Well, Sam Walton used to tell us, he said, we stand on the backs of our people, and you really do. Yeah. I mean, the company stands on the back, and it's about the people. Yeah. And first of all, congratulations on your values. Those are great. Those are great. And it's obvious that you live those out, and they're in their heart, the minds of how your team members think and react, and in relationship they have with their clients and each other, and all of that. It is obvious.
Yeah,
it's there.
Thank you. Yeah.
Talk about your talk about technology and strategy as we sort of. I know you one of your other great things you do is that's integration of technology. You shared that with us. Is there any other things you want to say about that? Because you really have taught us about Omnichannel here today. So anything else you want to talk about there?
Yeah. So with integrated technology, it fits with everything we're doing on Omnichannel. So if we are going into multiple retailers at Omnichannel, and we want all of those things to connect together, then really for us, thinking through technology that enables that is really important. Yeah. And so it is, for us, we have our own in-house platforms. It's pretty neat because we've got all these great analysts that have huge experience at retail, and they're the ones that are helping us design it. And so it's not done just by engineers, but we actually have analysts designing it and engineers building it.
I love it.
And that, those type things where we can really work side by side with those on the front lines, with those that are meeting with retailers, that for those that are side by side wearing the jersey of our clients. Yeah. Then when that happens, then we know what really matters, and we know what metrics matter. We know how different retailers look at metrics a little bit different, and we can integrate that into our systems as well. And so, when it comes to analytics, when it comes to retail media, we know what the retailer wants. We know what ultimately the customer wants. Right. And so we can make sure that all the little details matter when it comes to all those things.
And, last but not least, which is the most important, is really what I've heard from you today is about how you really think about your clients. You spend a lot of time on that.
We do.
That's awesome.
We do. Yeah, we do. It is, we love our clients. We have the most incredible clients because they are, in a sense, they're taking a chance on us. Yeah. They've heard our reputation. They've heard, what we've done for other clients, through word of mouth. But still it's to be able to say, hey, we trust you to help us at this retailer is really a big deal to us. And that's such an important thing that we value. Right. And so that's why that extraordinary service is important to us. We absolutely love our clients, and they are so creative, innovative, brilliant across the board of how they look at things. We learn just as much from our clients as maybe we teach them, maybe probably even more. Right. Because since we have such a diverse number of clients, we know they're looking at things from all different angles. Right. And they want to see things from all different angles. Yeah. And at the same time, for us, we're thinking, okay, let's take all of these different things and let's make sure that they have a unified strategy at Walmart, because Walmart has certain goals. Walmart has a certain approach. Yeah. And it is just such a good benefit for us to be right there, alongside with our clients. To be on their team, I think that's a thing for us. Is we feel like when our clients ask us to join with them, it's a partnership, and we are a part of their team. to where even some clients even consider us on their team, in a sense, like we are under their umbrella.
Awesome.
And that type of relationship is really important for us. As we, help. I mean, ultimately, we all want to grow the business. We want to be a benefit to retailer. We want to be a benefit to ultimately customers. And so we all have those same goals. And so to be able to align on those things and to just watch their success is very fulfilling for us. So I mean, I love our clients to death.
Yeah.
It really is just an amazing thing what we get to do. Yeah.
Greg Billingsley, it was inspiring conversation.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been so good to sit here and talk with you.
It was inspiring. I'm inspired by what I've heard. And thank you and all of your wonderful team members for all that you do for the clients, your clients. Thank you for giving us a peek inside your company about all the services and the technology and how you look at all of that. But I think the thing that everything stood out, but the things that I would tell you that is really powerful is your people. You recognize that and you pour into them. And I love the values you talked about. And then that's what makes all this possible is because your people, you know that, Absolutely. And you have recognized that. And so just your heart around your business and your heart towards your people and the passion that you have for your clients. And, what a great conversation. Again, thank you, Greg.
Well, I'd so appreciate you having me here. And it really is an honor just to, and it's fun. just for us to spend more time together, which is great.
I know.
And so thank you so much for having me. And the best of luck. I'm going to keep listening for sure.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. And
I appreciate that.
As things move on, and as all these changes happen, we'll have more to talk about as we keep
Absolutely. Moving. And we're going to have more to talk about because we're going to get this guy back. And maybe he can bring some of those wonderful people with him when he comes back.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be great, too. Thank you so much to all our viewers and listeners today. We appreciate you taking time. It's very, very important to us that we bring great programs to you. Check out dbbnwa.com because that's our website. And what you'll see our podcast there, but you'll also see articles, and there'll be an article about Harvest Group there as we post this. Thank you for joining us on your favorite streaming channel, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Thank you for doing that. We really appreciate you taking your valuable time and listening to that. Greg, thank you. And I can't wait to have you back in the studio, but I'm looking forward to us being on the bike, too, together
absolutely.
Very soon, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Greg. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.